12 days, 12 tree ornaments. Hello there, it's Paul here and welcome along everyone. This is day one of the 12 days of tree decorations, and day one is all about baubles. Now, baubles come in all sorts of shapes, sizes, colours, patterns, textures. Basically your imagination is your limit. This year what I've done, I've concentrated on making everything out of a sphere. Being tree decorations, they need to be as light as possible, so the idea is to hollow these out and reduce that weight as much as I could. Now, my first attempt, which was this one, I started off with my blank, cut it in half and just manually hollowed out the inside, and I used another smaller sphere to try and get it as even as possible. Now, the problem I found with that was that if you're slightly off a bit or both halves are not exactly the same, then it can cause you issues. So what I did after that was resort to making myself a little disc, and I could use that to first of all check the opening size, and then also once you've got the opening to actually just slot it in there to see where it was touching. And just being a disc, you can actually see then easily where it is actually touching there, and you can then just take it out to try and get the best circle inside that you possibly can. After that was done, the two pieces were then glued together, and I then just made an ordinary sphere. And if you want to see how I do that properly, I've got some videos which I'll try and put links down below in the description so that you can actually go off and see how I've been making my spheres. Now, what I also decided to do as well was I decided to use my Dremel tool. The idea was to start trying to create these sort of patterns, and as you can see, this is one that the hollowing was done with the manual way before, without using the disc. I actually went with these fairly deep, and in no place has it actually gone through the centre. Now, with my next one, you can see on there, this was done with the disc, and the walls on this are extremely thin. I mean, those walls are probably about 1 to 2 millimeter thick. That's how more accurate using the disc option has made it. For the other ones, I then decided to do it the old conventional way. I made my sphere blank and then just used an ordinary small hollowing tool just to take it as much as possible. So they're not as accurate inside, but they are still fairly light in weight wise. Now, for decoration wise, I tried various different options. This particular one, I've used my ebonising solution on it. That one also was with the ebonising solution. Now, all these other brown ones, I've actually used some walnut crystals on there which you dissolve in water to give them that colour. And I mean, that is the original colour of the wood, and you can see obviously how much it changes. Decoration wise, I tried various different things. Mainly on all of these, it's the silver or gold gilt cream, and just filled the bits in there. Done various bits of decorating on there, blobs and all sorts. Now, the finials were great fun to do. I think I literally did these totally with the skew, and it'd been a while since I'd used the skew, so it did take a little bit of time and some practice. Now, with making something as delicate as this, you will always usually get casualties. That was actually the very first sphere I'd done, and when I joined the two halves together, it doesn't actually show on here probably very well on the camera, but I've actually come down to where the two pieces of wood have actually come down for the thickness, and it's not going to take much more on that before that literally flies apart. Another one I had, you can see there that I was really struggling to get this fully rounded off. I think it basically was because it wasn't centered properly, and therefore ended up going through the edge. Baubles, great fun to make. It's probably one of the most common things that people will make as a tree decoration. This is just one example of obviously what you can make. There are literally loads of examples out there. People have done inside out turning, segmented turning, various types of lamination, and they look absolutely amazing. I will also say, out of my 12 days, this is probably the one item that took me the longest to make overall, and that really was making that sphere and making it hollow and as light as possible. This one weighs literally 10 grams. It is that light. Finishing wise, all I've done is I've just basically hung them up by my door and given them a spray coat of lacquer where they've had 2 coats just to finish them off with. Stay tuned. Day 2 will be up with a different type of tree ornament. Hopefully this video hasn't been too long, and hopefully it's given you some form of inspiration to go out there and make your own baubles. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you on day 2.